All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Vinny. I am here, as always, to talk all about Real American Freestyle. Event number 5, RAF 05, is right here today. And I am so sorry that, unfortunately, the Facebook the Facebook feed is not going through. So I do apologize for that, but I am going to do a quick pivot and put it up on our Twitch page, which is the first time we're actually on Twitch. So welcome to Suds Media on Twitch. Anyways, my name is Vinny. I'm here to talk all about Real American Freestyle. RAF 05 is now in the books, folks. And I do want to say that it was quite an event put on. Not without controversy, though. There were some controversial issues that led up to the event that I'm going to go over. The card changed from what it was originally supposed to be. But you know what? It's okay because the event itself was great for what it was. Earlier this week, I guess Real American Freestyle made a quick change with their weigh-in, where the weigh-ins had previously, for the previous events, happened the day before the event, whereas this time around, it happened day of, earlier in the afternoon. So there were two wrestlers that did not make weight in their classes, and their matches got changed in one way or another. Let me go ahead and read you the two statements that came out first from Real American Freestyle. First one, as we get set for tonight's RAF 05, we want to share an important update following today's official weigh-ins. 3 wrestlers did not make weight, resulting in changes to tonight's card and title picture. We planned for every scenario, and tonight still delivers one of the most stacked wrestling cards ever assembled. Yoel Romero did not make weight and has been stripped of his interim champion status. As a result, Bo Nickal will not compete tonight and is now recognized the undisputed RAF Light Heavyweight Champion at 205 pounds. Stephen Buchanan also did not make weight. Romero and Buchanan, who were originally scheduled to face different opponents, will now meet in a featured matchup tonight at unlimited weight class. Pat Downey will not compete this evening. In the featherweight division, Jordan Oliver did not make weight and has been stripped of the RAF featherweight title. Oliver and Rail Woods will still compete tonight in a match where if Woods is victorious, he will become the RAF featherweight champion. If Oliver is victorious, the title will remain vacant and be contested in a future RAF match. Tonight's event will now feature 2 marquee matchups. The co-main event, the long-awaited rematch between Dake and Kadik, and the main event, Covington versus Rockhold. That was the first statement put out by RAF. However, there was a mistake, and they did send out a second update, a second release. There was a mistake in the statement sent this afternoon. Stephen Buchanan did not miss weight for his scheduled match against Pat Downey. He will, however, be competing against Yoel Romero this evening. Izzy Martinez, Chad Bronstein, the entire RAF team apologizes to Stephen and his camp for releasing the wrong information. So that's what happened. That was some controversial things that took place earlier in the day. But either way, the event went on as planned, and it was a fantastic event as it was. So, again, my name is Vinny. For those of you who are on Twitch and have not watched a Suds Media show yet, we talk about soap operas. We talk about wrestling. And coming up later this month, we'll be having a hybrid podcast where we talk about fantasy of wrestling. That's right. It's going to be called Book Beyond Reality, and that's going to be our very first show that's supposed to be on Twitch regularly. However, called an Audible, and you're watching Freestylin on Real America's Freestyle, RAF 05 version. So why don't we get into what actually took place tonight? And I do want to apologize for my voice. I've been battling a dry throat, sickness, whatever you want to call it, for the past week or whatever, past couple of weeks. If you've watched Suds News or Dockside at the Bay, I've had this problem for the past couple of weeks. But you know what? It's okay. All right. So in the first match of tonight's event, it was a battle of social media content creators. It was Muggsy against Georgiopoulos. And the match itself, I do have to apologize. I did not get to see much of it. Unfortunately, the first match, my stream was not working correctly, and I couldn't really see what happened. However, in the first round, Georgiopoulos won by tech fall in the first round, and Muggsy, even though he's a charismatic person, he's used to losing in RAF. So either way, it was good. And I don't even think it was the takedown challenge took place. Poulos came out with a sign saying, "Take me down, you win $1,000." And I don't think Muggsy took him down at all. So he never got $1,000. They never know. Speaking of promotions, speaking of giveaways, Suds and Squared Circle Media is running a promotion for all of 2026. And you can win a free Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt every month. And how you enter is by giving us a super chat. For every super chat or super thanks or super sticker that you send us on our YouTube channel, suds-media.com. If you're watching on YouTube, you see the box down the bottom with the $sign in it. If you go ahead and hit that button and you donate, you support our show, no matter what the amount is, you will be entered into the monthly drawing. We will hold the drawing live on Suds News every on Monday, on that Monday following the end of the month, and we will award and have somebody win a Suds Media t-shirt. So go ahead and support the show and win a t-shirt at the same time. Again, that's you enter by doing the super chats or super thanks or super stickers on our YouTube channel, suds-media.com, and every super gives you an entry to win a free or to win a Suds and Squared Circle t-shirt at the end of the month, every month for 2026. All right. Moving on to our second match of the night. In the featherweight division, we had Pat Lugo against Johnny DeJulius. And Pat Lugo, again, won by tech fall. 2 tech falls in the very beginning, and it was 11-0 in the third round for Lugo to win by tech fall. Really, really good match. I mean, it wasn't competitive, obviously, with the tech fall, but either way, I want to give a congratulations to Pat Lugo. The third match of the night was, checking my notes here, Mustafa Elders against the Bear Steve Mako. This match was in the heavyweight division, and I was impressed with Elders. I was impressed with Mako, too. Mako being 43 years old, taking on the younger Elders, which is a very ironic thing to say. But either way, it was what it was. And Mako came out kind of tough. He was ahead at the end of the first round, 1-0. However, Elders took over and never looked back. At the end of the second round, it was 4-1, and at the end of the third round, it was 6-1. And that's your winner, Mustafa Elders. Mako, obviously being older, I guarantee you, even at he and I are about the same age. I couldn't compete with him, but he did look tired on the mat towards the end. He looked like he lost steam. I guess his last wrestling match was over 10 years ago. and he just came back for this. So I give him a lot of props, but either way, congratulations to Mustafa Elders for the victory. All right. The fourth match of the night, in my opinion, was the absolute match of the night and probably the best match in real American freestyle history. By the way, folks, the chat is open. And if you are a freestyle wrestling fan, definitely help me out. As I've said before, I grew up as a WWE fan, a professional sports entertainment fan. And, you know, I'm just getting into freestyle wrestling. The only reason why I wanted to take this on and wanted to learn about freestyle wrestling was because RAF was championed by Eric Bischoff, former head of WCW and WWE Hall of Famer, and the late great Hulk Hogan, who is an icon in professional wrestling, but he had this vision and was really passionate about RAF before he passed away. As you can tell, Hulk Hogan Wrestling Shop cup. I know that's not a paid advertisement. Okay. The fourth match of the night. Bo Bassett versus Caden Henschel. Again, two young guns in the wrestling game. Bassett, being 19 years old, had to get parents' permission for the last time he fought on RAF card. Caden Henschel is a social media content creator. I follow him right here on YouTube. But Bo Bassett won in the first round by tech fall, 14-4, and just manhandled Caden Henschel. Bo Bassett is a superstar. And as long as he could stay healthy, I mean, I could guarantee you he's going to end up winning Olympic gold. That's just how it's going to be. I mean, I can say he's going to be, you know, a prodigy like Kurt Angle, or just a fantastic athlete, a fantastic wrestler like a Shelton Benjamin or a Brock Lesnar. But I never watched them with their amateur wrestling backgrounds. So, but I got to say, Bo Bassett is impressive. And the way that he just dominates the mat, especially against someone like Henschel. And Henschel is fantastic as well. But Henschel asked for the match. Henschel challenged Bo Bassett. And I got to tell you, Bo Bassett came out on top and never looked back. His conviction for not only his faith, but for wrestling is absolutely fantastic. Again, I can see him winning that featherweight championship relatively soon. So we'll see how things go for him in the future. But just an overall great matchup for Bo Bassett, winning 14-4 by tech fall. All right, the fifth match of the night that I will get to momentarily. There we go. Nathan Tomasello defended his Real American Freestyle Bantamweight Championship belt against Austin DeSanto. And these guys had fought before. And what I'm finding out is, again, it's not like pro wrestling where you don't really acknowledge the other organizations or whatever that are out there. But one thing I have realized is that while these guys and girls that are signed to Real American Freestyle, they're not exclusively signed. So they can fight in other, whether it's the World Championships or the Olympics. I mean, obviously those are two very important things, but also other organizations. Bo Bassett said that he wrestled in high school, collegiate, and professional wrestling all in a calendar year. He had to skip his high school wrestling meet tonight to be at the RAF event. So, again, you could fight for different organizations. We know that Kennedy Blade is still wrestling in the NCAAs. So, yeah, I just, again, it's something that I'm still learning about this sport. But, so, Tomasello defending against Austin DeSanto. The last time they fought, I guess DeSanto dominated him. And we've seen NATO in RAF, and he was dominant when he won the championship, the bantamweight title. He also defended the title, so he's 2-0. He was 2-0 entering into this match. However, DeSanto, in the first round, at the end of the first round, DeSanto was up 9-0 over Nathan Tomasello. And then in the second round, he went up 11-1 and never looked back. Obviously, that's a tech fall, and we have a new Real American Freestyle bantamweight champion, Austin DeSanto. I guess I'm assuming that DeSanto is just NATO's kryptonite. That's all I could say. Because I never thought I'd see NATO get dominated like that, but he did. All right, moving on. All right, this match here, in the Cruiserweight Division. In the Cruiserweight Division, we had both guys, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, were making their Real American Freestyle debut. And it was Zahid Valencia against Nate Jackson. Both fiery competitors. Not much really more to talk about. They're both older when it comes to wrestling standards. Valencia is 28, Jackson is 31. But they're in the prime of their careers right now. And it was a back and forth matchup. Well, no, I shouldn't say back and forth, but it was a very hard fought matchup. After the first round, Valencia was up 2-0. After the second round, he was up 4-0. And then that's what it stayed after the third. So Valencia won the match 4-0 over Nate Jackson. And again, it was a really good match. It was hard fought, especially the third round. There was, Valencia with a shutout over Jackson, but Jackson shut Valencia out in the third round. Really can't deny how great that was. All right, moving on to match number 7. Remember, folks, the next Real American Freestyle is February 28th, so we have about 6 weeks until the next RAF event. And that's going to be in Tempe, Arizona. That'll start at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know what my schedule is yet, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch it live or if it'll have to be the next day. So I will let everybody know. Stay tuned to our social media, which on X you're watching right now is at Suds Media. So keep that in mind. I've got 48 people watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and give us a super chat or a super thanks. Help support the network so we can continue to bring you great content as we move on. All right, so the 7th match was our changed matchup, or one of them, and it was in the catchweight division. Stephen Buchanan versus Yoel Romero. Now, okay, I would love some input from the fans, from the people watching who know more about freestyle wrestling than I do. So, is 7 pounds that big of a difference? Bo Nickal weighed in at 205. Yoel Romero weighed in at 212. And I'm sorry, but I don't see 7 pounds being a big deal. Again, I'm not a wrestler, but is 7 pounds really a big deal? I guess what happened was And I already gave you the information about the weigh-in and what happened. Well, apparently, Romero had a family dinner already planned for Friday night, last night actually, and he ended up going to it. He was thought that he would weigh in before the meal. Now, if you're gaining, 7 pounds at one meal, you're eating quite a bit. And as someone who's an athlete and burning calories all the time, I can imagine what your meal's like. But at the same time, Real American Freestyle has their very first full-fledged heel in the business. Now, I know the heels and baby faces are for WWE style, professional wrestling, sports entertainment. But the whole idea behind Real American Freestyle was to get these guys their personalities out. Get the fans to know who these people are. So not a wrestler. Thank you so much for chiming in. He says 7 pounds is not a big difference maker for 200+ pound guys. It's a lot to miss weight by, though, obviously. So yeah, I mean that's unfortunately what it is. They missed weight by 7 pounds. Bo Nickal came out and cut a promo. He had an interview with Chael Sonnen, and I'm telling you, Nickal got booed crazily. Like, the entire building, for the people that were in attendance, they booed him out of the building. That's why I said he's probably the first heel for RAF. And, I guess there's a big difference between Bo Nickal, who chose not to wrestle, a guy who's 7 pounds more, because Romero was stripped of the interim Light Heavyweight Championship because he missed weight. So Nickal is the undisputed Light Heavyweight Champion. So he could have easily just said, you know what, it won't be a title match, but I'll still fight. I'll still wrestle. But he chose not to. And, the online discourse is not kind to Bo Nickal. Again, he could have just done the exhibition, but he chose not to. And apparently his manager or trainer or whatever came online and also said that he had bad issues with getting bigger matches or matches with bigger weight differences or something in the past. And he had not been able to prepare for something that heavy, something to that effect. And it was just bad for him. Again, not sure why that matters, but I'm not a wrestler. I can't say whether or not he should have gone through. I can only say that people wanted him to go through the match still, even if it wasn't for the title. And he said that Romero was disrespectful for not making weight. And it was disrespectful to not only his opponent, being Nickal, but also to the rest of the guys in the locker room. Is it disrespectful? Maybe. Maybe Romero didn't have to have a family dinner the night before. But I've also heard that, Nickal himself cuts weight to like 185 for the UFC. So if he knows how hard it is. And Romero being 48 years old, it's probably harder for him to cut weight. I don't know. Maybe. I know at 44 years old, it's hard for me to cut weight, and I'm not trying to cut weight. I'm trying to lose weight, but not cut weight for wrestling. But anyways, Stephen Nickal against Yoel Romero in the heavyweight division. Again, how does he go from light heavyweight to heavyweight by just 7 pounds? It's not something that I could compute because it's all the weight classes are new to me. But either way, it was in the heavyweight division. It was Stephen Buchanan against Yoel Romero, and Stephen Buchanan was a beast on the mat. Now, all credit to Romero, 48 years old, beat Pat Downey at the last event at RAF 03. RAF 04. And, but this time it just wasn't his time. It looked like he stayed more defensively and just couldn't get any kind of offense couldn't get any points at all, as in the second round, Buchanan won 10-0 by tech fall. And what a match for Buchanan to come in and totally dominate Yoel Romero. And I wonder if Bo Nickal is in the back thinking, hey, I could have still won. So, I mean, I'm wondering if he's kicking himself now because he lost, the share of the purse, so to speak, the winner's share of the purse, as they would say. All right. Moving on to match number 8. This is another one that was changed a little bit because of somebody not making weight, and that was Jordan Oliver, who was the interim featherweight championship. Was the Real American Freestyle featherweight champion. He was supposed to defend the title against Real Woods. Now, Oliver didn't make weight. I don't know how much over he was. I'm not sure, what the weigh-in was said, but he didn't make weight. So it was a specific predicament where if Oliver won, and at the top of the show, I did read the press release put out by Real American Freestyle. If Oliver won, the featherweight championship would stay vacant, and then it would be contested again. If Real Woods won, he would become the featherweight champion. And this is the first time I've paid attention. No, this is the first time I've seen it. There are no ties in Real American Freestyle, which means that the person that scored last wins the match. After the first round, it was 2-0 in favor of Real Woods. After the second round, it was 2-1 in favor of Real Woods. And at the end of round 3, we were tied at 3-3. However, with literally 1 second left in the match, Jordan Oliver pushes Real Woods out and gets the point to tie it up and give himself the advantage. And Jordan Oliver wins 3-3 with a 3-3 advantage, which means the Real American Freestyle Featherweight Championship is vacant. Again, it's rules that I have to get used to. But the biggest comparison I can say is Woods coming out and just saying, you know what, I'm going to go through with the match anyways. I still have a chance to win the championship. Why couldn't Bo Nickal do the same thing? Why couldn't Bo Nickal say, okay, you didn't make weight, you're being stripped the interim title, I'm the champion, I still want to come out there and wrestle. Now, I'm going to give you the caveat again. I'm not a wrestler. I haven't followed freestyle wrestling all my life. I've been watching WWE, and, their people, their wrestlers over the years have always said, if you don't work, you don't get paid. And Bo Nickal lost his share of the purse money because he didn't want to wrestle. And in the featherweight championship, Real Woods said, you know what? It's okay that he went over, or it's okay that he didn't make weight. I'm still going to wrestle him. And that's what he did. And he unfortunately got the short end of the stick there, because Woods ended up losing because of the tie goes to the runner, so to speak. And Jordan Oliver wins 3-3 with a 3-3 advantage, because he was the last one to score. So that's what it boils down to, folks. This match had 11. This event had 11 matches on the card. All of them were fantastic. I'm enjoying RAF. Like I said, I feel for somebody you could tell in my logo, there's a wrestling ring there, a professional wrestling ring there. I think it's, obviously they have different number of ropes, whatever. But it's a wrestling ring behind me. The squared circle, that's what WWE is. I'm learning all this. Honestly, I got to say, I'm enjoying RAF much more than I'm enjoying WWE at this point. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it's like I'm really enjoying it probably because it's a new organization for me, and it's so unpredictable. Like it really was. It's the entire night has been unpredictable because it's real. It's not choreographed, obviously. All right. Next up, in match number 9 in the lightweight division, Amerant Zarukian taking on Lance Palmer, and what a match that was. And Zarukian, say that 3 times fast. Amerant Zarukian won in the first round of 10-0 by tech fall. Again, and he just attacked and never stopped. Amazing. The way that these guys go through it. And again, it was great. That's all I can say. All right. Now we go on to our co-main event. And at this point in time, out comes WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle to cover the analyst role from Juliana Pena. Chael Sonnen is there. And the play-by-play guy was another different play-by-play guy. Because I don't remember who this guy was. I think I really think that he was on one of the earlier events as play-by-play, but it wasn't Jimmy Smith, who did last one. So I'm just gonna, let's see, RAF events, whatever it's gonna. Here we go. Yes, so Cyrus Fees. Cyrus Fees was the play-by-play guy. And I got to check to see if, because last time it was Jimmy Smith as the play-by-play. On RAF 03, it was Cyrus Fees. Okay, so Cyrus Fees was on RAF 03, because I thought I recognized him. RAF 02 was Bubba Jenkins as the play-by-play. And the inaugural RAF 01 was Bubba Jenkins as well. So I like Cyrus Fees. I like Jimmy Smith the last time, though. That was really good. But it's whatever. Kurt Angle came out to join Fees and Chael Sonnen. So it was a great to see Kurt Angle there, as always, because Olympic gold medalist in 96, won 2 gold medals with a broken freaking neck. Gotta love him. Gotta give all kinds of props to Kurt Angle. All right. Like I said, here we go. For the co-main event, for the Cruiserweight Championship match, Kyle Dake defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Kadik. I am not going to attempt to say Kadik's full name because I know I'll butcher it and maybe swear in a different language or something. So I am not going to even attempt to say it, but he's known as Kadik. That's how he, says it. So Dake against Kadik for the Cruiserweight Championship. Dake is from Lansing, New York, and Kadik is from Russia but fighting out of Belarus. This match, it was a little slow going at the beginning. At the end of the first round, it was 1-0. At the end of the second round, Dake picked up a few points in the round, and it was 6-0. I thought he was on his way to a tech fall. However, the third round was the most competitive round in what I think is the best, of the night. The third round was the round of the night. I already said that Bassett and Henschel was the match of the night and maybe even the match of the promotion. But the Dake and Kadik match in round 3, the final score was Kyle Dake 10 and Kadik 7. So in reality, in the third round, Kadik won it 7 points to 4. However, Dake was already ahead by 6. So that's why Dake won. But either way, congratulations to Kyle Dake for keeping that title. In a hard-fought match, especially in the third period. All right, and now we move on to the main event of the night. Two guys making their Real American Freestyle debuts. UFC's Colby Chaos Covington against Luke Rockhold. I've heard of Colby Covington. He's a name in the UFC. I've actually never heard of Luke Rockhold. This is my first time, seeing him or whatever. And with that said, in the Cruiserweight Division, Colby Covington won by tech fall in the second round, 12-0. And what a match it was. Rockhold kept trying to get somewhere and just never could. There were, for those of you who are WWE fans, there were a couple of nice, what I would call a DDT, but some nice DDTs in the match tonight. Dake had a really good one against Kadik, to the point where Kadik couldn't breathe. He was actually tapping out. But Covington beat Rockhold 12-0, and I gotta give him that credit for these guys coming in from UFC. Now, Bo Nickal said he's tired of fake wrestlers, and that, as somebody who's been watching professional wrestling all my life, that usually, is geared towards WWE wrestlers, WWE superstars. But no, Nickal was talking about UFC guys that, weren't competing. But Nickal himself competes in the UFC. So, again, his base is wrestling. That's why. And for the longest time, there was no promotion or professional promotion that freestyle wrestlers can go to make money. Now there is with Real American Freestyle. So that's where that boiled down to. And I know I've been going for about 40 minutes, so I want to thank the 63 people currently watching. Go over to suds-media.com, which is our YouTube channel. Click on the like button for this video. Click on the subscribe to subscribe to our network. And then click on the bell to enable the notification so that anytime something comes on our network, whether it's soap opera related or WWE professional wrestling related or RAF related or any of our new programs coming up in this next month or so, you will get notified. And go ahead and give us a super chat or a super thanks or a super like. It's the button under the video with the $sign in it. You can help support our network. And in return, every month, we are giving away a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt to one lucky person based on a random drawing of you guys giving us supers. So every super given in the month is an entry to win that t-shirt for that month. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. 68 people currently watching. Thank you. I do appreciate that. As always, you can find me I would like to find a co-host for this show. So if you know freestyle wrestling and you want to come on this show, shoot me a DM at Suds Media on X, and we'll get that taken care of. And we'll get you started with the next event, which is February 28th in Tempe, Arizona, for Real American Freestyle 06. But with that said, I'm Vinny. I'm on Facebook and Twitter at Vinny Suds, on X is also at Suds Media, which is our network X account, which is what I normally use. On Instagram and Threads, it's at Suds and Squared Circle Media. No, at Suds and Squared Circle. On TikTok is at Suds_Media. And there's a whole bunch of other places, but the most important is go to suds-media.com for our YouTube channel and hit that like button for the video and subscribe and turn on the notification bells and send us some supers. Help support the network. All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Vinny. I will be back after RAFO 6 in Tempe, Arizona on February 28th. Have a great night, everybody.